Now, one of the new things that they did add that I do want to take a quick look at, part of this update this morning, this was a good thing. This was a win, something we've been asking for a long time that they finally did. They added, wow, I might actually hit this tonight too. 7 million to go. That's easy. They added cloaking for G4 and G5 ships to the faction stores. Previously, it only went up through the Val door, and anything above that you either had to buy or you had to get through an event store. And usually, in an event store, either they didn't give you enough currency or they put a cap on it, so that way the most you could ever get was usually like half. So now we don't have to worry necessarily about that. Now, I think I already have cloaking for the pylon, which is why you don't see it here, but we can look at the coronar for cost purposes. And we'll start with the new 46s. The coronar takes 80, so we're talking about, well, let's open up an Excel spreadsheet, shall we? Let's do a new blank one here. Let's move this off to the side. So we've got what? G4 rare, G4 epic, G5 uncommon, G5 rare, G5 epic, which I won't be able to see the cost on, but maybe some of you guys can and you can share it with me. And then we've got faction credits versus event store credits. Because I'm just curious what the cost difference is between them, right? So coronar would take you 80. So we just do this as 80 times 1975. That's 158,000 faction credits to get a 46. Okay. Here's a 50 uncommon. I'm sorry, 50 epic. That would be 120 shards times 2,075 apiece. 249,000. Vorcha cloaking. This is 60 shards, but they cost 45.25 each. So that's actually 271. We can get into this one here. Sanctus, there it is. This is 80 shards times 46.25. So that's 370. And if any G5 players can tell me what it's 120 shards, what the cloaking cost for a Dideridix or something is. Otherwise, I'll just have to go kill stuff till I get that 7 million XP. Actually, do I have anything I can turn in for that? Yes, where's my Borg refinery? I don't think I did that one. Oh, come on, Ace. My Excel spreadsheets aren't that bad. There we go. Bam, 30 million. Romulan, Legend, locked. Hey, look at that. We did it. I'm now at my 15 billion lock point, means I can stop doing Romulan missions now, and I can switch over and start working on these, and I can just go back to killing Romulans. But now that that promoted me, I can now see the cost of the Dideridix here. Oh, you just spend all day working with Excel sheets and don't want to look at them in general? Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying. 120 times 48.25. Okay, so there's what our quick costs are for our faction credits. That's what our regular cost would be to unlock cloaking. This is cloaking. We'll put that there. Now we can go look and see what they would cost in event store currency real fast, just so we have all the numbers side by side. Jane, you were busy doing dad stuff, barely got your dailies done yesterday. Oh boy. Yeah. Real life definitely gets, well, real life takes priority, and it always should, right? So, Let's see what these cloakings cost here in the event store. If we go look at, well, there's the Vorcha, limit 60, okay. That's the G5 uncommon, so if we go 60 times, well, wow, they're 10,000. That's a lot more expensive. Pylum cloaking, sure, we'll take that one. That's 80 times 5,600. Yikes. Oh, there's my Sanctus cloaking. 80 times 9375. Oh boy. Talk about some big numbers here. There's the Tribune cloaking. 120 shards there at 5,000 apiece. And I won't be able to see what the epics are. Again, if anybody watching can tell me what the event store cost of a G5 epic cloaking is, that would be appreciated. Bad Wolf, you still there? Maybe we can see if there's a pattern here. The Vorcha are 10,000 apiece. The Sanctus are actually cheaper, but you need more of them. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm just going to postulate that it's probably about 900,000. So this... Nomad, thank you very much for the 100 bits. This number, I'm guessing, if anybody can check the event store, who's a G6 player or high G5 player, and tell me what the cost of a G5 epic cloaking is, or at least what the cost per shard is, and I'll do the math real quick. Fable just started playing. He was recommended my videos, and they're great so far. Well, thank you very much for coming on here and saying so, and thank you for the follow this morning. I appreciate that as well. Glad you're able to catch the show live. I think it's going to be around 900,000, just judging by how they've increased cost exponentially. But if you obviously you can see here, there's a drastic difference between what it cost you in faction credits to get one of these things versus what it would cost you in event store currency, especially because event store currency normally in a regular month without buying anything or doing anything special, you're looking at around 400 to 450,000, which for some players isn't even going to be enough to unlock one of these things. So they'd have to just get half of one of the new cloakings. So the fact that they're available now in faction credits which are sourceable for a variety of ways, or you can even convert Latinum to faction credits if you want. It's 50 to 1, but you can still do it if you have an abundance of Latinum from buying other things. You could get some extra faction credits and convert them, and then use your event store currency on something else you want. Or use a combination of the both, right? If I want, for my Sanctus right now, it would cost me 750,000 event store currency. Maybe I only want to spend 200,000 or 300,000, and then I could get the rest with faction credits. So there's a little more flexibility this time around. In terms of how you're sourcing these things out here, so. But you got different options is really all we're saying here. So let me just go ahead and take a quick little, well, we'll just save that for later. So this is a win. This is a good thing for the players. This is a beneficial thing. Now, G6 players, you still have to buy your cloaks for your new ships if you have any of them. They're not sourceable through the game. I don't know if we can see if they have if they'll even let me see what they cost. Probably not. Usually you have to have the ship, or at least the level of the ship, the shipyard level rather, before they let you kind of see what the costs of some of this stuff are. So, but I'm sure based on previous things, it's not one pack to unlock. It's not like, hey, you spent 99 bucks and you got, the cloaking for it. I mean, here, look here at the Sanctus. My Sanctus cloak would cost me $400. My Vorcha cloak, if I wanted to just buy it, or the Tribune, these are all partial unlocks at $100 a piece, and you need 4 of them to unlock it. So they're selling these higher level cloaks for 400 bucks a piece. Valdor, G4 uncommon, 200 bucks a piece. So I can only imagine that it's got to be at least the same or more likely higher. Cloaking for G6 is only in the faction store? Okay. Oh, and it's $93.75 for the G5 epics? 9375, and you need what, 120? So it's over $1 million? Wow, okay. So I was a little off. I underestimated that one. Okay, so G5 epic cloaking a little higher. Yeah, 120 shards. Thank you very much for that one. Legend of Jane coming in with the save. So again, nearly double what a G4 epic would cost you. Yeah, that's pretty steep. Those are some pretty steep costs. And Badwolf says that cloaking for G6 is only through the faction stores? Okay. So it's not available in the pay store yet. Okay. My faction rep isn't nearly high enough to do that. So not exactly how I thought it would go, but okay, sure. $60 shards for the 64 uncommons. 80 shards for the 66 rares. Yep, that makes sense and would follow the consistent pattern there. So now that would just come down to what the cost is per shard, but regardless, we know it's going to be a lot more expensive and than what we had seen previously in other tiers. But okay, so it's a win for the players. Cloaking itself isn't quite the mechanic that it once was anymore. It's nice for PvP, sneaking in and doing some damage or just scouting out what's going on in an enemy territory. But, some of the other buffs and things where you're like, oh, I have to cloak so I can kill this armada. Like if you're at war with another alliance, yes, cloaking certainly helps with doing that. But if you're, just trying to do it for like the damage modifier or the extra mitigation bonus or things like that, most of the time the power level in the game is such that that's not really all that beneficial anymore. So it's nice to see that they've recognized that and added, cloaking as, not so much just a pay-only feature now and actually more of just an in-game sourceable feature. So that's a win. That's a positive. Good job. Good job.